By request, kick-ass facts, social experiments. But pew, pew, pew! In the Carlsberg social experiment, they sent unsuspecting couples into a crowded movie theater. There were 2 seats remaining right in the middle of the theater. The rest of the theater was filled with very tough-looking, tattooed male bikers. Some couples, seeing the empty seats and the bikers, decided to leave. Others sat down and took their seats and were rewarded with a round of applause and some free beer. Don't judge a book by its cover. The Rosenhunt Experiments. In his 1973 paper on being sane in insane places, psychologist David Rosenhunt strongly criticized psychiatric hospitals and the quality of psychiatric diagnosis. He sent 7 experimenters into the hospital to be admitted with auditory hallucinations. They weren't having them. After admission, they behaved perfectly normal, telling the medical staff and hospitals their hallucinations had disappeared. Instead of investigating the issue, the hospital kept treating them as though they were mentally ill and feeding them antipsychotic meds. These pseudo-patients flushed the medications and continued to act in a calm, rational fashion. Didn't matter. The smoke-filled room experiment. In this experiment, imagine you're alone in a room filling out a questionnaire when smoke starts pouring in from under the door. What do? Now imagine there are other people in the room when the smoke starts pouring in, and they don't have a care in the world. When alone, 75% of people reported the smoke within 2 minutes of first noticing the smoke. However, when 2 actors were present who were working with the experimenters and told to act as though nothing was wrong, only 10% of people left the room or reported the smoke. 9 out of 10 people kept working on the questionnaire even while they were rubbing their eyes and waving smoke out of their faces. This experiment is a great example of people responding slower to emergency situations in the presence of passive others. This is called the bystander effect. The Asch Conformity Experiments. People were shown a line and asked to select the line of a matching length from a group of 3. Asch, the guy who ran the experiment, also put actors in the room. The actors would intentionally select the wrong lines. The results revealed that when people picked the wrong line, other participants were likely to conform and give the same answers as the rest of the group. This led to the controversial Milgram experiments. They were testing obedience to authority. In this, they measured the willingness of study participants, men aged 20 to 50, from a diverse range of occupations with varying levels of education, to obey an authority figure who instructed them to perform acts of conflicting with their personal conscience. Participants were led to believe that they were assisting in an unrelated experiment in which they had to administer electric shocks to a learner. These fake electric shocks gradually increased to levels that would have been fatal if they were real. They weren't, but they didn't know. The experiment found, unexpectedly, that a very high proportion of subjects would fully obey the instructions, albeit reluctantly.